Hey guys, thanks for coming by and watching my video. This video is going to be on making a whistle out of a 50 caliber spent shell casing with a spent primer, but no projectile. I did make another whistle out of a 223 spent shell casing, and I'll show you that. It's right here on my keychain. It's pretty loud, and what I did is the same process that I'm going to do with the 50 caliber. And I'll go ahead and explain that while I'm doing the 50 cal whistle. But it makes a nice little survival whistle, and I do have these, if you're not handy enough to make it yourself, but I'd say go ahead and try. I do have these on my Etsy site. It's www.etsy.com and under M. Robertson 68 for shops. And I do have these for sale. And I'll also be selling the 50 caliber. And makes kind of a nice whistle. It does get really high if you blow hard through it for a survival whistle. So, excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to make one of these. And again, the process is the same for whatever shell casing you're trying to use. The 223 round. I made one out of a 380 round and a 357 round. But I'm going to go ahead and show you a 50 caliber round. Okay. So I'm not going to walk you through the entire process and narrate, but I am going to go ahead and show you all the processes there are to make it and kind of shorten the film up a little bit, okay? All right, so go ahead and stand by, and we'll make a 50 caliber whistle. Approximately 3/8 wide for this whistle, and then just straighten up your line. That. Okay, for the 50 caliber shell casing, you need a half-inch outside diameter piece of brass that'll slide down inside, nice and tight. And then you'll need a piece of brass, and this is I think a half-inch by 1/32, half-inch wide. And what you'll need to do is take it, and I like this width because I could put it right on the edge like this and solder it halfway, like that. Okay, so that's what you're going to solder. I'll go ahead and show you that now. Okay, the other thing you'll need to do real quick before you solder is you got to sand down this edge. And I rolled this up and I slid it down inside, and I sanded the inside already. And then do the same with the shell. You know, roll up your paper and slide it down inside, and then sand that out so that it has a clean clean brass to brass, so there isn't any reason why this isn't going to seal real well. And then the other thing is, you can look, I don't know if you can tell, but this is a little out of round, and I want it round. So I'll just take a little screwdriver, and the stuff's pretty soft on the brass edge, and just kind of round it like that. See, it's already pretty much rounded back out. Okay, it's a little bit off, but that's okay. Now you can see this is a little isn't as tight as it was before, but the solder will fill that in. I'd rather have the edge on the end when it's finished looking round than having it be off. Okay, so I'll go ahead, and then same thing with these pieces. I've sanded this already. That's going to go right on here with a little flux. I'm going to solder it on, cut it, and then I'll show you how that's like when I'm done with it. Got to polish the end before it goes inside like that. Polish a little bit on this end. Nice polish. Same thing with the shell on the end. See? Okay, you guys, I went ahead and soldered the end piece on. You saw me do that, and I polished it. Polished the end piece. That's going to go down inside. I polished the shell, and again, I have the buffing wheel. It's actually on a drill. It's on a drill press, but if you have something, great. If not, it's going to take you a while. Same thing with doing the soldering. Hopefully, if you know how to do that, you can use a torch and solder correctly using flux, and make sure you just clean all your ends before you go ahead and solder. And then when you do solder, heat up the thicker piece, obviously the pipe, before you heat up the end piece, so that the flux pulls into the entire piece. Okay, so I did go ahead and also polish down inside and cleaned out the inside. I have a little Dremel 4000 with a little end cotton tip, which I put some polishing compound in and cleaned inside. So this piece now will go down in here. I polished just the edge, and I polished the front. I didn't polish anything else because that's where I wanted the solder to stick. That'll go in here, sit there. Basically, it's too short, so it shot in there, but so okay. And it probably can't see down inside there, but the end piece is looks pretty nice when it's already polished. The reason I polish it first is you can't polish it once it's down inside there. And same thing with polishing the outside. If you're polishing with a polishing wheel, the polish is going to push down inside and it's hard to get it back out. So try to do most of the polishing before you do your final solder, but leave the edge where you're going to solder rough. Okay, so I'll go ahead and solder it now, show you that, and then do the final polish, and we'll see how it sounds. Okay. Okay, after you saw me do the soldering on that, I went ahead and grinded down the end, and then I sanded it with 220 and then 400, and then repolished it. So now it is polished, and you can see that the reed is right inside there. I think you can see that, or down inside there, and that's pretty good sound. It's pretty loud. So that's a 50 caliber whistle. So the only thing you're going to need to be careful with is when you're soldering the 1/2 inch pipe down inside, you can see it actually, once it's soldered, it makes this a double wall on the end, so it's going to be real strong. And I don't even see the line here at all, and it is a lead-free solder. But again, what I was going to say is, the thing you got to be careful is when you're putting that together after you soldered the piece on the end of the pipe for the reed, sliding it in and then heating it back up to do your soldering here, because if you heat it up and it gets too hot, that little piece that you put on the end of the pipe will just fall off down inside the shell, and you'll have to start all over. So you got to be real careful with it. And then as soon as you're done with the soldering, cool it down with some water or a wet rag right away so that that piece doesn't fall off. Okay, so again, your 50 caliber whistle. I guarantee you all the kids are going to want it because it's bitchin', and it's about the coolest whistle with a shell you can find, unless you're going larger, and then you got to strap it to your back with a backpack, because this is about as big as you want to get for a shell, for a casing whistle. But your survival whistle, 50 caliber, and again, I got a bunch here on 223 rounds, 9 mils, 40s, and whatever else. But for these whistles, this is about the coolest that you're going to find. So again, I have these at www.etsy.com. It's Etsy, and I'm selling them. Although I recommend you try to make one if you can get yourself get your hands on some of these shells. Okay, and until my next video, please subscribe and let me know what you want to see, and I'll try to make something. Okay, thanks for viewing. Talk to you later.